I'm going to resist the temptation to make any reference to any hot cross buns. So
I think I ate one on the show yesterday.
there's an old joke that was around. Do you remember the Teletubbies?
Yes.
Do you remember the
Yes.
Yeah, and do you remember they used to have the rabbits there, and they always used to fall asleep? They were very soporific rabbits because the studio lights were so warm that all the little rabbits used to fall asleep. And so the joke was sort of like, what happens if you leave the Teletubby rabbits outside in the studio for too long? They become hot cross bunnies.
Oh, bless them.
It's so sweet.
I like that. Anyway, it is.
Anyway, says Gina.
Anyway, and I'll get told off after because you don't put an anyway in there because we've pushed that to one. I am pushing it to one side because we have got important business here this morning, and that's why our Alive and Kicking team of Reverend Sophie and Father Neil are joining us this morning because it's time for confessions.
Yeah, it's very important. The salvation of someone's life and soul is in our hands.
Indeed.
Important work first thing on a Thursday morning. I mean, what else would you be doing?
I know, which is why we need help from you at home.
We do. Lots of help.
Yeah, it's a big burden on our shoulders. Confessions every single week. Last week it was the spider or the non-spider.
Non-spider. I forgot about the non-spider.
Wow.
That was a bit naughty, wasn't it?
Although we did decide to forgive it, didn't we?
Oh yes, we did decide to forgive.
There was an update on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sid the Scary Spider apparently emerged 2 days later in the drawer.
Is Sid the Scary Spider still alive?
Yes, but outside. He was
Okay.
moved, in the hand and placed outside by Nanny,
That's
apparently. So there you go. That's the update.
I had to move a spider in the week, and I got it by one of its legs. And it was super strong. I felt like it was trying to ply my fingers apart. It was a chunky monkey. It was So be careful for that. He went boing. He went out the window, out the front door.
No, he went out the window. You know what you did.
No,
what you did.
No. Generally, it was out the front door because he was hidden by the downstairs toilet. So I picked him up. He wrestled with me for a bit, slammed me against the wall.
Yeah,
and then the door opened,
WWE style.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
And then
what would be your WWE name? I wonder.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you actually had one when you were a kid.
Suggestions, please.
Yes, suggestions.
On social media, what is Tom's WWE name? Yeah.
We'll find out maybe by the end of this. It is Confessions, Father Neil. In fact, we're inundated with confessions, as are so many people seeking salvation at the moment.
That's true. So should we get the music going? And then we shall find out.
Here we go.
These are my confessions. These are my confessions. These are my confessions.
Father Neil, the floor is yours.
Shout out to Rosie, who has sent this in.
A name!
We have a name.
Any other?
Yeah, so Rosie actually posted this on my social media feed because I know Rosie and Rosie knows me. So if you follow me on social media, then you might have seen this already. But as the majority of the county don't, it's going to be new to most of you. Dear Alive and Kicking and friends of the Pure West Breakfast, so here is my confession. Imagine you are in a fairly busy but spacious public park. There are lots of huge old trees, branches draping down to the floor. A 4-year-old crawls under one. You hear him talking to someone. He pokes his head out and says to his granny, "There's a man in the tree." Imagine the 4-year-old reappears with a blue plastic bag containing not the man's rubbish, but a very large selection of mini eggs, and on what closer examination appears to be a laminated message in Spanish. "He threw this out of the tree at me," said the 4-year-old, who then runs back to the tree and very loudly shouts, "Thank you." Do you eat it? The bag is very clearly someone's Easter egg hunt because the writing in Spanish has a big number at the top. But the 4-year-old grandchild is very pleased to have been delivered a bag of Easter eggs by a friendly man up a tree. And surely if you leave bags of chocolate under trees in a busy public place on a Saturday morning, you are taking a risk of that bag not being there when you return. We sent Grandcha to investigate, and he had a nice chat with the man in the tree, who it turns out had found the bag of mini eggs near the tree and picked it up. The man in the tree thought the eggs deserved to be shared out, or that's what he claimed. We suspected it was a cunning ruse to get rid of the small nosy child that was asking him annoying questions like, "What are you doing in a tree?" So we let the 4-year-old eat the eggs. We did help! ! And we put the bag containing the clue at the base of the tree and then wandered off to sit on a bench. Imagine our surprise when we then watched 3 Spanish teachers lead 8 children in hunting for various clues around the park. While they found clue 1 and retrieved chocolate, which was shared amongst all of the children, and clue 2, ditto, and so on, until they got to the tree. A flustered and annoyed Spanish teacher finally came out from under the tree with an empty bag, ran off to refill it, and then snuck it back, whilst the children didn't know. The 4-year-old was happy, the Spanish learners were happy, the Spanish teacher was confused at best. We were very happy because we'd shared with our 4-year-old's chocolate, and we feel that the moral is not to leave Easter egg under trees in public places where any random small child or man in a tree may think they have struck gold.
Oh dear.
Please can we be forgiven for stealing the Spanish class's set of Easter eggs and potentially ruining their Easter egg hunt? Note, after half an hour, we were all sitting around that same tree, playing Pass the Parcel in Spanish. And both Grancha and I and our 4-year-old grandchild were thoroughly confused.
Hang on, did they get involved with the goings on?
Yeah.
Was that the guilt?
Possibly.
Wow. So in summary, they've gone to a lovely public place. They're looking after the 4-year-olds.
Yes.
They took a very weird turn very early on. There was a man in the tree giving out chocolate.
Yeah, he never really appears again. He just is this...
It's just they're destroying Easter egg hunts.
Yes.
Yeah, chocolate for you, chocolate for you. And the 4-year-olds...
I'm traumatized.
And the 4-year-olds and Rosie.
Yes, and Rosie and Grancha.
Indulged in the chocolate.
Yes.
And to find that they had ruined one of the stops on an Easter egg hunt.
And I think the key is that Rosie does say, we pretty much knew it was an Easter egg hunt because there was a number and something in Spanish. We don't know what the Spanish was.
Yeah.
But we ate the eggs anyway.
We knew it anyway. They didn't think, we'll put this back where we found it.
Yes.
No. Finished. And then that poor teacher had to come along and be like, someone's had me Easter eggs.
I'm slightly traumatized.
Are you?
Not gonna lie, slightly traumatized.
Traumatized?
Yes.
Because
I'm a Salisbury girl. You do not go around picking up things and eating them unless you want some Novichok poisoning. I'm just completely traumatized.
We're in a different world over here.
Yeah. See, Wales. Well, difference between Wales and England.
We're all
Trust the
friends.
Welsh, not
Trust
to...
the Welsh.
Yeah.
Not the Russian.
Not to spike an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Dear.
Well, and so they knowingly went and ate this Easter egg, and then lo and behold, as they suspected, the Easter egg hunt came along.
Yes.
They had already eaten it, but as they ended up joining in with the game Pass the Parcel
In Spanish.
In Spanish.
I love the fact that, because this happened last Saturday, I love the fact that just randomly the Easter egg hunt was in Spanish.
I know.
And it was for a group of sort of like children that are learning Spanish with a tutor and their parents are there. And it's just like,
it sounds lovely.
Yeah.
What an engaging way to learn a language.
yeah.
Gina, your first thoughts, please.
Well, I was not going to forgive because they'd eaten the eggs. However, it seems that the eggs were refilled and none of the children went without. So there was more eggs put there, yes?
Yes, there
Am I
were.
correct? Okay. So I was not forgiven, but once I knew that the eggs were refilled and then the children didn't go without the eggs, I am going to forgive.
Oh.
And there was some owning up as well, you know.
Yeah.
Rosie and Grancha and the little one did sort of like go across and explain the situation and ended up playing Pass the Parcel with them.
Okay. Well,
So they did put it right. They did sort of say, look, we found
Well, no,
these
they
eggs,
didn't
we
pay
need
for the
them.
chocolates and they didn't
Oh,
replace the
I was
chocolates.
going to say that they just joined in.
But I will say this in mitigation. if either of my daughters, when they were 4 years old, turned up holding a bag of plastic mini eggs,
Yeah.
sort of like a nice man gave these to me, and said I could have them. Notwithstanding the concerns about Novichok poisoning and stranger danger.
Well, I was going to
And
say,
stranger-
just be
and stranger
Stranger
careful.
danger,
It's
yes.
stranger danger more than anything
Yeah.
else. Like you just
Yeah.
don't go around
But
picking
trying
things
to
up and eating them.
trying to prize chocolate eggs out of a 4-year-old's hand.
There would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
That
I don't think I'd have eaten them as well, though. But you should have put them back where you found them.
Yeah.
Don't touch
mean,
them.
a
They're
dog-
not yours. They're nothing
Yeah,
to do with
a
you. Put
dog
them
could have
back.
weed on them or anything.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Precisely. I mean, I just wouldn't. I mean, I'm probably slightly traumatized by the whole
Salisbury. thing.
Salisbury thing.
Salisbury thing.
Being that's my hometown, so I'm probably slightly traumatized by that, but notwithstanding, even before that, I would have been very, very, very cautious about picking up food that has essentially been left. Because A, you don't know how long it's been there. B, you don't know what's been done to it. I mean, it may not be Novichok, but it could be any other nasty, powdery things that are sprinkled on food. I'd just be very, very careful about anything that had been left in a park.
Mhm.
Personally,
Yeah, you're right.
Well,
So
I imagine they were still in a sealed bag, though, were they?
Yes.
Yeah, so they were still sealed in their normal wrapping and containers and boxes.
so was the perfume bottle.
She really is holding on to that. And I mean, we know it's a very serious event.
That was the
That was a very serious event.
very
so-
serious, like this close.
I mean,
It's a complete chaos.
when I do Easter egg hunts, I don't do it like that at all. I don't leave the eggs out.
Okay.
So you have
Numbers.
Yes, yeah. Well, laminated cards with a number, and then
Mm.
under each number is a letter, and you write the letters down, and you randomly, and then you put the in order, and it spells out normally something like Happy Easter or Jesus
Oh, nice.
is Lord, and you take that back to the person, and they give you an egg, and that way, because if you have, particularly with mixed ages, the older ones run around,
Yes, they
and they
do.
get all the eggs
This is true.
before the little ones have a chance.
Oh, but there's something quite wonderful about catching a wild chocolate egg in the wild, though, isn't there?
Well, yes, I suppose so.
Yes, Tom. Yes, catching wild eggs is big on my list of things to do over Easter.
Notwithstanding your concerns about poisoning, have you decided to forgive or not to forgive?
Can you come back to me?
I will
Yeah.
come back. So my thoughts on this is
Well, for your legal brain, it's obviously theft.
well, exactly. I don't think finders, keepers, losers, weepers works necessarily in the court of law. However, he who holds he who has it, possession is 9/10 of the law, whatever corny other phrases there are.
Or is it not treasure?
Oh, do we need to declare it?
Ooh.
Mr.
So-
Charles, we found some.
Yeah, yeah.
It would have to be declared, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we
Treasure.
need to declare it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found some treasure, some Easter eggs in the park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then,
It's gonna
then
go
the
down well.
government has to check it,
Yeah, verify it.
and if it's not worth more than a certain amount,
You can keep it.
you can keep it.
There you
Otherwise,
go.
it becomes hoard, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Mm.
So it's going to a museum somewhere.
Yeah.
So there's I don't know what the man was doing, giving away other people's chocolates, because it sounds like he was aware that something wrong was
what
going
was he
on.
doing up the tree?
Oh, he was
Yeah.
up as well.
He was.
It's a whole
I'm
little there's a side quest
There's
going
a
on.
side
I
there.
know
Question
nothing
going on.
about his activities up the tree. I'm assuming that they were wholesome. But maybe he was working.
Yes.
And he had a sore or something like this,
Well,
or
I
maybe
hope
he
it
was
wholesome.
bird
Yeah.
watching or something like
That's
this.
what I was worried about.
Yeah.
It's the bird watching.
We'll say that there are some very rare birds around the county at the moment.
Yeah,
There
are there.
There's migratory routes at the moment. Keep your
Oh,
eyes
keep
peeled.
your eyes
Okay.
peeled.
However, this 4-year-old, I'm not taking chocolate off a 4-year-old unless I've got a substitute, because that's going to scream down that whole park. And those Spanish
Yeah.
students are going to have a terrible time if they're trying to listen to Uno, Dos, Tres, and you've got a 4-year-old screaming down the
Look at
house.
him! It's a
What is
bilingual show.
Bilingual show. this morning.
Trilingual. Throw in some Welsh, as well.
you mean, right?
Yeah. I do.
I do-
Welsh Learner of the Year comes up
Oh,
with a
come
do.
on. Do we ready bod and dusky Siarad Cymraeg?
Oh,
Ooh, how can I?
Has Capis?
Pass Capes. So this 4-year-old,
We're doing epically bad.
we don't want him screaming down the park. But we also don't want these other learners to miss out on chocolate eggs. And they did eat the eggs. And I think that they did join in afterwards. So they were then helping him build the language. However, I do think an apology needs to go to the teacher. To be like, I'm sorry that I caused a major panic when you had your little group of students going to number 4, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, and they weren't there.
Quattro formaggio.
Oh,
4
delicious.
cheese. That's the type of pizza you can get with 4 cheeses on it.
There you go.
Oh no, that's Italian. That's not Spanish.
Oh, heck, we've got to learn another language now, have we?
I'm so confused. What is going on with the show this morning?
So
Did you know, by the way, that Jesus
love the
washed-
4 cheese pizza.
Yeah, here we
washed his disciples' sheep?
yeah.
What?
According to one of the recent recordings that we put together, yes, Reverend Sophie was delivering a very pious monologue.
Profound monologue.
Yes,
Profound.
yes,
And
about
then-
how about how Jesus knelt down and
Washed his sheep.
washed his disciples' sheep.
As opposed
His
to,
feet.
and I thought so.
Getting back to the
yeah,
question.
we'll get back to this. Anna's in.
Right, yes. Hello, Anna.
Not forgiven, as they knew what they were for, but still went and ate them. Naughty, naughty. Lol. Lol.
Mm.
And I think that's the thing. They did know.
Yeah,
They
they
did
did know.
know. So, I'm going to not forgive.
Oh. So one forgiven, one not forgiven.
I am putting aside the chocolate eating and putting aside the fact that the child may or may not have screamed if you'd taken the eggs away. I think giving food to a child that you didn't quite know where it was coming from is not forgivable anyway. So not forgiven. There we are.
Oh,
Not forgiven.
Now,
Okay.
Father Neil, this has already been publicly declared.
It has been publicly declared, yes. And I love and treasure my dear friend Rosie very, very much, but I am going to not forgive as well.
Oh my goodness!
Is that 3 of us and Anna? So is that 4 not forgiven and only myself forgiving?
Yep.
Oh!
Oh dear.
Oh,
What are your thoughts at home? Can you sway the balance by the end of the show? I wonder. Is this the first time Rosie's hearing of your outcome?
Yes. I haven't replied. The only reply I sent her was that I would put it on the show.
Oh!
yeah. She's your ex-friend. She doesn't want to know you anymore.
She's no longer your friend.
Yeah.
Toby Cotton is also with us and saying not forgiven. Tracy's with us, not forgiven, definitely. Rosie, you've got some making up to do. Get that Spanish tutor some chocolates because you've got one of these. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Alive and Kicking this Sunday. It's a big one.
It is, yes, it is the big one. The biggest one of the year, really.
Yeah, it's Easter Sunday, and you've got us for a whole 2 hours this Sunday.
I know.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Set your alarms 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
And pray for me because I've got to put up with him for 2 hours.
It's been a busy couple of weeks. Oh, does this mean that we've been talking about Lent over the last couple of sessions that you've had in the studio?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
coming to a close.
To an end.
Yes, so
It means you can start eating your chocolate again.
we break our Lenten fast at 7 o'clock on Saturday evening.
We do.
Because we have a special first Eucharist of Easter, Vigil Eucharist, in Roebuxton at 7 o'clock on
Yeah.
Holy Saturday, Easter Eve. But most people will break it on Sunday morning. As soon as they wake up, it'll be alarm clock, bzzz, chocolate, mouth. And away you go.
Oh,
Did you give up Yum Yums? Is that correct?
Yes, I have given up
Yes.
yum. I haven't had a yum yum since the beginning of Lent.
oh wow.
I know.
That is very good.
Yes.
Yeah, I just.
Don't ask me about Apple Danish.
I
But-
just.
but-
So you replaced. Isn't that missing the point?
Shush.
Shush. I'm trying to retain my moral authority here.
Amazing. And of course, last night in Hakin there was the Passion.
No, Aberystwyth last night.
Aberystwyth.
Last night was Aberystwyth. Haken was the night before.
Night
I
before.
cried.
Apologies.
I cried.
You cried.
I cried in Haken. Yeah, cried.
Ah.
Cried in the middle. Got goosebumps.
It was
Um,
beautiful. It was
yes.
really, really well done. So if you missed it, well, I mean, they're traveling the country, but it was fabulous. Really, really good.
Great. And I talked to you about this in the week. Jesus Christ Superstar is currently in
Absolutely.
Half West High this
Yeah,
week,
yeah.
all the way through until Sunday.
Very exciting.
Big at my boy Sam. He's playing Jesus.
Is he?
He is.
Oh wow. Okay. So where can you get tickets from that from?
If you go to Pembrokeshire Performing Arts, you'll be
Okay.
able to find out. And it gives a bit of a rough timeline as to what happened in the days leading up to Sunday,
Yeah.
with a little bit of artistic license.
Yes, of course.
Well,
Mhm.
that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
A bit of artistic license.
Thank
I
you so
will
much.
say that tickets, I think, on our What's Ons on Pure West Radio, there is a QR code on the poster as well. So you can go up and get
Brilliant.
that, and then you can get your tickets that way.
Excellent.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful Easter. Well, it doesn't start off wonderful, but it certainly becomes wonderful for you on the Sunday. So have a great weekend.
Thank
However
you.
that looks. And in fact, do you have any events that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I've got loads.
Ah,
That's
So many.
so
Excellent.
many.
Stay
events.
tuned. They are coming up next. It's 8:30 here on your Gin Tom Breakfast Show with Folly Farm.
Get your annual pass today for unlimited